Well, hello again and welcome to our reading of the book of Tobit from the Septuagint, and we're up to chapter 11. Kai hos engisan es caserin heest in cat enanti Nineveh, Apen Raphael su ginoskes pos hefegamenton patera su. And when they drew near to this place, Kesarin, which the location is unknown. The Vulgate has here Karan, which is also unknown, which is opposite Nineveh. Raphael said, you know, pose how we have left from Aphiami, how we left your father, that is, in what state we left your father. Pro dramomen tes gunaikas su. Now we get a hortatory subjunctive here, so let us run ahead of your wife. Kai hoitamasomen ten oikian, and let us prepare the house. En hoi, in which kontai, they are coming. Kai, they of course meaning his wife, and of course there'll be servants and things we had mentioned in the previous chapter. Kai Poruthes and Amphoteroi koinos, and they went both of them together in common. Kai apen autoi, he said to him, so the subject must be Raphael and Tobias is the autoi. So take a metakeras, take with your hands the kole, the gall, this is of this fish. So take the gall of the fish, kai sun elthen autois hokuon ekton opiso auto kai Tobia. Very odd verse here because we haven't had any mention of this dog since the beginning, but you remember at the beginning of the story they went off with a dog, which may have had some connection with the idea of expelling demons and things, the presence of the dog. But the dog gets mentioned here just once more. So when the dog went with them, ekton opiso autu, literally, well, from behind him. So it's just equivalent to behind. So behind him, that is the angel and Tobias. Kai Anna ekatheto perible pomena in ten hodon to huiu autes. And Anna was sitting, looking out at the path, so looking around the path of her son. So the road, it's slightly shortened here. It's that she was looking at the road that her son had gone on. Kai pros in no esen auton, and she saw him, she spied him, coming on coming, and said to his father, behold, your son comes, and the man, the one having gone with him. Kai Raphael apen Tobia said to Tobias, pro tu engisai auton. This is this pro plus the articular infinitive again. So this is an infinitive from engisdo. So the subject goes into the accusative. So before he got near to his father, epistemai hoti, I know that. So this is Raphael says to Tobias before he arrived. He got near to his father. I know that his eyes, anoic thesontai, what an amazing verb form here. It's very odd. It's from anoigo. We've got a triple augment in the middle, which happens with that verb, which is odd anyway. But and here we've got a future passive. So it may in fact be a future perfect passive, of which I don't think there are any examples in the Septuagint. This may be one of them. You do see aniok thesan in the book of Genesis. The more regular form would be anoik thesamai, but this may be some kind of future perfect passive here. but the meaning is clear. So I know that his eyes will be opened. So perhaps will have been made open, if it's a future perfect. Emplason, from emplaso, is to mould or to smear. So it's an infinitive. Emplason ten cholen tu ichthuos es tu ophthalmous tu. So smear the gall of the fish into his eyes. Kai apostupse, from apostufo, is to contract or shrink. And the subject of it is topharmakon. So well, perhaps we say the potion rather than drug here. The potion will, or the ointment almost, will shrink. Kai apolepise, from apolepisdo, which is a later form of apolepo, is to peel off. And it will peel off the leukomata, the white spots, from his eyes. And your father, anablepse, will regain his sight, and he will see the light. So they're going to use the other very useful fish. They've used part of it to get rid of the evil demon, and now they're using another part to heal Tobit's eyes. Kai anedramen, ana, in brackets here, kai anepesen epiton trakelon tu autu autes. We know it's going to be ana from the autes here, but the one of the variants is to put the name in here. So Anna ran up, literally fell upon the neck of her son. You get a similar expression to this actually in the New Testament in Luke 15:20. It's just an expression to hug somebody. Another way of saying to hug. Kai apen auto, and said to him, Apon se, Adon se, I saw you, my boy. Apot tu nun apot thenumai kai eklausen. Well, funny expression here. It's literally from this point on, I will die, and she wept. So the basic thing is, I can now die because I've laid eyes on you again. And she wept. Kai aneste tobis. Now notice very funny spelling here. We've been not having this before. We're having Tobit. So this is the father. Tobis, or Tobit, aneste, stood up. Kai pros ekopten tois posin. A proskopto is to stumble. It's to knock against something. So he stumbled with his feet, because he's blind, he's got no one to lead him, and he went out through the door of the courtyard. Kai ebadesen Tobias, prosauton, and Tobias went to him, and the gall of the fish, understand, was ente keri autu, was in his hand, and he, now this is from emphusao, is to blow in or to scatter, so perhaps just applied here. So he applied it into his eyes. This is the gall of the fish, and he took hold of him. So he took hold of his father and said, Thase, imperative, take courage, pater, O father. Kai epebalen ton pharmakon ebautu kai epedoken. So this is literally to throw in addition. So he applied more of the drug, the potion, the ointment to him. Kai ep edoken. Again, we're getting this epi in the sense of in addition to. And he gave further of it. So he applied it more liberally. Kai anelepes pesen hekairas tais kersin autu, and with both of his hands he wiped off, or he took, we've had that verb just before, he peeled it off with both of his hands, apotone canthone. Funny word here. Canthos is the corner of the eye. So he wiped it off with his hands from the corners of his eyes, and again he fell upon his neck, so he embraced him, and he wept, and he said to him, this is Tobit now is doing this, he says, Adon said, I saw you, son, the light of my eyes. In other words, I can now see you. And he said, blessed is God, and his name is blessed, his great name is blessed, and all his holy angels, eulogamenoi, they are also blessed. Again, which is interesting because one of the angels there is, of course, there with them is Raphael. Genoi to onomaton mega autu, may his name be great upon you, and may all of his angels be blessed as pantos to Sionas unto the ages, so forever. Hoti autos e mastigo senbe. Now, mastigo is literally to whip, but it's used of affliction generally. So mastix is a whip, mastigo to whip, but it's used of affliction, because he afflicted me, and behold, I see Tobias my son. And Tobias went in rejoicing and blessing God with his whole mouth. Again, odd expression. Other versions have somati autu, with his whole body, with his whole strength, but here we get stomati. Kai hoti ananaken, sorry, I've dropped a line, and Tobias explained to his father that his journey was prospered, and that enanoken, this is the perfect from pharaoh, it's an irregular verb, enanoka is the perfect, and that he carried the silver, so that he brought the silver, and that he took Sarah, the daughter of Raguel, as his wife, and that, behold, Paraginata, she is present and is near the gate of Nineveh. She is present on our way at the gate of Nineveh. Kai ex aelthen Tobit, again there's a variant reading here that adds in the subject here. So Tobit went out for a meeting with his Nymphe, with his daughter-in-law, rejoicing and blessing God to the gate of Nineveh. And those seeing him as he was going in Nineveh, Kaidia binonta auton, so seeing him going and walking, and him walking literally with all his strength, so i.e. he's cured, and kairagogumenon, this is from ago to lead, this is the aorist root here, agagon, and kaira hand, so seeing him being led by the hand by nobody, we finally get our main verb, ethaumasan, they were amazed. Just a couple of little pictures here of it was a very popular subject in medieval times and in later times, in Renaissance times. There's Tobit being healed by his son, and there's the angel, of course, overseeing it all. And here was another little picture here, the healing of Tobit, where he's again being healed by his son, and there's the wings of the angel, there's the wife there, and there's the dog in the corner here. So they were amazed, and Tobit ex homologeso here. He confessed before them that God had had mercy upon him, and that he opened his eyes. This again is from anoigo. It's a verb which gets maltreated in Greek even from early times. In Xenophon you see similar things. The verb itself is from ana plus originally oignumi, and it was to open up, and the ana was actually the preposition. However, you don't normally augment the preposition, but even from early times they'd seem to have forgotten that the ana was actually a preposition and thought the verb was anoigo without being a compound, and so you get the augmenting of the preposition, and in many cases you get the augmenting also both of the preposition and the oig root in the middle, sometimes up to 3 or 4 augments in total with this verb. It gets kicked around quite badly grammatically. Anyway, and he opened his eyes, and Tobit drew near to Sarah his wife. Tobit drew near to Sarah, the wife of Tobias his son, and blessed her, and said to her, this is an optative, may you enter in hugiainusa in good health, O daughter, and blessed is your God who leads you to us, daughter. And blessed is your father, and blessed is Tobias my son, and blessed are you, O daughter. Eselther, enter into your house in good health, with blessing and joy. Enter in, O daughter. Enter hemeritauta, and in that day there was joy for all the Jews who, those being, dative plural participle here from Amy, those being in Nineveh. Kai, now it's very interesting final verse here for this chapter. Achikar, we've heard of him before, he was present, and Nabad, the ex-Adelphoi, these are his cousins, rejoicing with Tobit. The Nabad elsewhere in the story of Achikar, this separate ancient document, in that Nabad, also called Nadan or Nadin, is in fact the evil nephew of Achikar, who tried to have his uncle killed. Achikar had taken Nadin in as a boy and educated him and gave him many good things, and he introduced him to the king's court, and he became one of the king's favourites. But then later in this story of Achikar, Nadin then arranged a stunt with which he convinced the king that Achikar was a traitor. The king ordered Achikar to be beheaded, but the swordsman's life had earlier been saved by Achikar, so the swordsman hid Achikar and beheaded some other poor slave in the prison instead, so everyone thought that Achikar was dead. Later on in chapter 3 of this story of Achikar, the king of Egypt then asks Sennacherib, who was the king, to send him a wise man who could build a tower between heaven and earth. Sennacherib then was unhappy that he had Achikar killed, but the swordsman finally confessed to Sennacherib what he had done and brought Achikar to Sennacherib. Achikar then went to Egypt, shows off his wisdom, and he returns home and upbraids Nadin for his sins. So this is this guy here, but at this stage all seems to be well between them. Well, that's the end of chapter 11.